1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi everyone, this is Jewish Talk coming to you live from NASA Community College on 90.3 WHPC and also streaming on the iHeart and the iTunes app. We can be seen in the studios on my Facebook Live page and the Facebook of this great station, WHPC. This program is later archived on Spreaker.com. So, hi there. My name is Rabbi Pearl. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This all depends on where you are listening and, of course, watching. I must tell you, this past week I was going to the Mineola post office. It was on Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. approximately. And there I meet Carol. Carol and Tom listen to us every single Sunday. I want to say a big special shout out to both of you, Carol and Tom. It was great to see you at the post office. And welcome to everybody. Everybody watching us, everybody listening to us. And we have a great program right in store for everybody. First of all, I'd like to bring to your attention tonight. That's today, of course, is February the 16th into the 17th. On the Jewish calendar marks the 22nd day of Shvat, Chof Bei Shvat. And tonight, tomorrow, marks the 32nd Yahrzeit anniversary. That's the date of the passing of the Lubavitcher Rebbe's wife of 59 years, Rebbetzin Chaya Mushka. She had felt ill the night before and was brought to the hospital, where she requested a glass of water. After reciting the blessing, "Blessed are you, God, by whose word all things come into being," she returned her soul to her Maker. The Rebbetzin Chaya Mushka, was an erudite and wise woman. She carried the mantle of her exalted position in a very most humble and unpretentious fashion. I had the honor of meeting her once. Though she was the wife of a leader revered by hundreds of thousands, almost nothing was known about her until after her passing, when those who knew her felt that they could tell of her life and personality without violating her jealously guarded privacy. I want to share with you, on the very day of her burial, this is 1988, the Rebbe established a charity fund in her name, which continues to this day to serve as a variety of women's social and educational purposes. And in the days in the past following her passing, the Rebbe spoke frequently on the theme, V'chayit and libay, those living shall take it to heart, how the passing of a person close to oneself should prompt one to positive action in the form of lessons derived from that person's life and deeds undertaken to perpetuate his or her memory. I want to say again, welcome to Susan Ferenzi, Harvey Kipnis, good morning, to Dr. Kilshevsky, and to Jean, to Robert Rosenthal, welcome, Judge, and to everybody out there and listening to us. I'm sure you've heard of the word hak, right? As a rabbi, I know it very well. People hak me a chinik. But seriously, you've heard of the word hack, and it's usually explained, we use it when someone has gained unauthorized access to a data system. Right? Someone has hacked our computer. But in a more informal sense, to hack it is a term used when we're speaking about managing or coping with something. Lots of people leave because they can't hack it, right? You've heard that expression. Well, today I'm going to share, in a more positive sense, what I would suggest, or what I would call, I'm thinking, a number of hacks, a number of ways to have mental control. Because a person should know that he or she has control on their minds. And I'm going to share this with you. It comes from the wisdom of the classic Jewish work called the Tanya. Plenty of personal coaches, psychologists, and consultants will provide you with advice and techniques for mental control, each teacher providing what works for him or for her. But in Jewish circles, we have a Jewish small book called the Tanya. This is a classical work of spiritual guidance by the first Chabad Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman Liadi. And what I'm about to share with you, that from this book of Tanya, we have a chock full of how thoughts work in how to reach great heights by learning to control them. I'm going to put them in a more 21st century friendly kind of way. Number one, thoughts are a touchscreen display for your psyche. Let me explain. Think of the display on your smartphone. By touching that display, choosing what you want to observe, and manipulating the symbols, the apps, you have control over your advice. The same thing is with your thoughts. They're not just a window into your brain and heart. They also allow you to manipulate that brain and heart. Your smartphone is manipulated by touch and voice. Your thoughts are manipulated by simple detaching yourself a little, observing what's up on the display, and choosing which thoughts you want to invest in. Furthermore, mental control is really heart control. If I tell you I'm sad, don't tell me I shouldn't be sad. I'm sad. But if you offer me some happy thoughts to think, pretty soon I may not be so sad. So you can't choose how you feel, but you can choose what you think. And what you think has the power to change how you feel. That's what the Zohar, this is the Jewish mystical source, the Zohar, means when it says that the mind innately rules over the heart. Not the way a dictator rules by stern command. Nature requires no commands. Rather, wherever your thoughts travel, your emotional state naturally follows close behind. Welcome to Label Swenson, thank you. And to Levana Cohen-Lichter, thank you so much. Have you ever been to one of those guided relaxation classes? Your mind observes, I'm breathing. And your breathing falls into a steady rhythm. Your mind observes, my fingers are tense. And without any order or command, your fingers release their clasp and relax. The famous Herbert Benson deemed it the relaxation response. Any part of a body that comes into direct connection with the mind becomes mind-like, calm, steady, and detached. So too, when the mind applies itself to matters that concern the heart, the childlike heart responds by growing up a little and becoming a more mindful heart. Let's continue this. Let's be honest. Our thoughts never stop. Stop and listen to the thoughts running through your mind. Yes, we all have them. Everyone describes them differently, and some are more aware of them than others. But they're there, buzzing non-stop. If you don't hear your thoughts, try this simple, well-known hack, to use that word. Stop everything you're doing and listen to your breathing. Within a short while, as your breathing becomes more in rhythm, your thoughts will seem to become louder. Now you can start observing them. You'll notice that your thoughts are quite similar to your breath. You can control your breath, but when you let go of the reins, the breathing continues all by itself. The same is with your thoughts. You can choose what you think, but when you let go, your thoughts don't stop. They never do. You may be thinking about nothing, but you're never not thinking. Now that's an important thing to know, because the autopilot function in our brains is not the pilot of choice in anyone's cockpit, and it's easily hijacked by your worst enemies. So what I'm sharing with you, keep a vigilant watch over what's up there. The more mindful you are of your thoughts, the better you're going to feel about yourself and about life. I met someone the other day who said to me, I'm so full of anxiety, so down. So I told him what the Rebbe's advice was, the Lubavitch Rebbe's advice. You're facing all kinds of challenges? Think in your mind of how you would feel when everything passes away. And you can look back at it and say, wow, I'm over it. Do that now. And we have expressions, think good, it'll be good. Put yourself in the position now, yes, while you're facing the challenges, and imagine yourself post that and how you'll sit back and relax. And you'll see how better you'll feel about yourself and about life now. Continue this idea. Your thoughts are not you, and you are not your thoughts. It's natural to observe those thoughts buzzing in your brain and say, oh, that's me. But it's not you. If it were you, then who's the one observing those thoughts and saying, that's me? You can't directly observe the raw perceptions and feelings that form your current character and personality, just like you can't directly see your own eyeballs. Your thoughts act as a wondrous kind of mirror, but a crude mirror, displaying only a very muddy reflection of what your brain and heart are up to. It may display ideas and emotions, but its fabric is the language you've learned, things you've seen and the sounds that you've heard. Think of thoughts as a kind of clothing, levushim. Just like you can change your clothing whenever you wish, so you can switch uncomfortable, unbefitting thoughts with thoughts that bring out your inner resilience and beauty. So don't say, what can I do? These are my thoughts. They are miserable thoughts, so I'm depressed. Instead, say the following. Hey, what's the point in wearing these depressing thoughts? They're not helping me. They're not providing anything worthwhile. I could think positive, uplifting thoughts as well. Now that's power. That's the power to change. And the ability to always be changing is the key to having a good life. This is a very important part of this. Keep a set of healthy thoughts always in your pocket. What am I talking about? When I was in yeshiva many years ago in Paris, the teachers made us learn 12 chapters of Tanya. 12 chapters. They in Hebrew. Long, deep chapters of Tanya. And why? And all these many years later, I've come to appreciate why this is. Because what do we think about? Whatever we experience, what we talk about and read about. So if you make it a habit to keep a small set of wholesome things that you're talking about, reading about, and thinking about, which comes very easily if you spend your time studying, particularly meaningful ideas, Torah, a worthwhile book, and you're thinking about this, you'll always have something good to switch your mind to when toxic thoughts invade. Even better, memorize words. My father taught me to learn Mishnayos by heart. For thousands of years, we have memorized the Psalms, key passages in the Torah, the Mishnah, and other key works. And we've repeated them over and over every day and even while at work. I have a friend. Her name is Trish Sashnik. And I hear from time to time from Michael that Trish likes to repeat the Shema. Just those few words. But that's something ingrained in a person's mind, and we can call upon them. By memorizing holy words, it means to engrave the words in one's heart. And they become a component of your psychic. And when you've achieved that, you'll find those words spontaneously and almost effortlessly running in the background. But we have always also pondered the meanings of everything we set to memory. Right? We're always doing that. Each week we come together, we extract new lessons from the weekly parsha. We wrestle with the debates of the Talmud. We contemplate the secrets of Kabbalah and Jewish mysticism. Most importantly, we apply the wisdom of Torah to our daily life. And if a person fills their mind with this, they have so much to think about, so much positive, uplifting, all transcending dimensions. We have inherited a wealth of magnificent wardrobes, you may say, for the soul. Everyone can find beautiful thoughts hanging in the wardrobes to dress up in, to provide strength in times of challenge, comfort in times of distress, and joy and peace at every point in life. The Baal Shem Tov taught the following concept, and the Rebbe would advise people many times with this particular idea. Because the Baal Shem Tov taught that where your head's at, that's where you're at, all of you. So find good thoughts to fill our heads with and keep them always handy. When you take a break, go for a walk, or find yourself cruising down a clear highway, take out one of those thoughts and chew on it. And today with our cars, we have the pairing of our phones. You can actually listen to amazing classes, amazing teachers, TED Talks, Torah Thoughts, all kinds of good things. And your mind I mean, instead of all the other garbage and listening to the news and everything else, what do you gain from that? Just brings you down and brings you, depressive thoughts, especially the world of politics today. But if a person fills their mind and listens, you got something special to turn to and to uplift. And of course, our reactions feed our thoughts. Let's say some thoughts jump into our mind and scares you. Maybe it was a nasty thought about a good person. Maybe it was some low-life fantasy, or a memory of some experience you thought that you'd already put out of your mind. And what are you thinking? How could I have even thought such an ugly thought? So you put that thought on steroids. Thoughts are fed by your reactions to them. Don't react. Guess what? And the thought dies. There's an interesting teaching in the Talmud. Chash b'roisha yasik b'Torah. If a person has a headache, he should study Torah. What does that mean? I mean, what it means is, chash b'roisha means you have a headache, means your mind, you're slipping. Your mind is going to dangerous locations. You're thinking of all kinds of stupid things. And you're falling out of yourself. Yasik b'Torah, go and study Torah. You're elevating, you're putting in new thoughts, positive, uplifting thoughts. The only effective strategy to unwanted thoughts is to stay cool, baby. Impartial observer of that thought, just long enough to notice that it's something you can steer away from. Then bounce off it in one of those wholesome, healthy thoughts you stored for just that very moment. Whether it's a Mishnah, whether it's a Tanya, whether it's a memory of a loved one, those will pull us away from all those negative thoughts. That strategy actually makes you stronger each time. And you can thank those ugly thoughts for challenging you so you can further develop your mind power. Later, you can ask advice from a mentor who might tell you just that. Let's see anyone. Let's say hello to Christopher Santos Sylvia. Thank you so much. Let's see, who else do we have here? Harold Kornfeld, all the way from Florida. Sarah Breben, thank you. Stephen Epstein, Ashrei, welcome. Stephen Epstein, thank you. And to Susan Kay from Rockville Center. Wow, Susan, thank you so much. Wow, this is great to hear from everybody and to see everybody. And now we're talking about ways to take control of our mental thoughts. Not all thoughts come from thinking. Let's be honest. Ugly, toxic thoughts are symptoms of an emotional whirlpool. And we all have those whirlpools. Those emotions are you, but you can't pull yourself up by tugging at your own heartstrings. You don't want to step near there without a mentor or a good and wise friend to pull you out of that. It may be that some anxiety-provoking issue is swirling around in your life, and you just need to talk it through with someone who knows well and who cares about you. Or it may be that you're just becoming more sensitive to your thoughts, and now you're noticing the junk that has been lying around all the time. In many cases, however, you need to surrender to the fact that it's perfectly natural to have such thoughts. And you need to flood your mind with more healthy thoughts, speak more healthy words, and do more healthy things. And people who have a healthier mind don't swear. That's what I've seen. Other people, every third word has to be, the F word, which stands for fun, or the S word, which stands for savings. Come on, let's be honest. If you got good thoughts in your mind, and my engineer's like flipping out here. So practice whatever the opportunity arises. Switching thoughts in midstream is not always easy. It's certainly easier to switch actions or choose which words to say and which not. But by practicing self-control in those easier situations, you'll find yourself in a far better position than when wrestling with your thoughts. So, for example, say you just saw a chocolate bar and your impulse is to grab it and stuff it into your mouth. Instead, pick it up, stare at it for a while. That's right, just delay your gratification. Slowly and deliberately say the blessing over the chocolate. Now you can put a small piece in your mouth. Now, what's the point of all of that? Besides cultivating a more mindful human existence, you're also exercising your muscles of mind control. Or say you're sitting with your friends and you have an urge to blurt out a few words that you think will make them laugh. Hold on to those thoughts. Just stay quiet, stiller. Then a few minutes later, if it's still appropriate, say what you have to say. You just made yourself a mighty master over the mind. You may also have avoided inadvertently hurting someone's feelings, because sometimes, even when we're making a joke, we end up actually hurting someone's feelings. And you didn't mean it, but if you thought twice, I think someone once said to me, Rabbi, think 40 times before you speak. Actions and speech are much easier to control than thoughts. Gain some control of what you do and how you speak, and controlling your thoughts will come much, much easier. Now, healthy thoughts are deep thoughts. Learn to think long and deep, nourishing thoughts. As I study, I always like to see connections between the teacher in the Talmud, or the teacher in what I'm studying, in their background, their history, how they conducted themselves. So suddenly their teachings become so much deeper. Just an example. That we should learn to think long and deep, nourishing thoughts. The only time your brain is truly engaged is when it's fully engaged for more than a few seconds. Only then can those thoughts make a dent in the way you feel. So if a person spends quality time studying good stuff, you're going to become a person who thinks good things more throughout the day than someone whose life is just filled with emptiness, with stupidity, in self-centered conversations at all times. In winning the war against contemplation, I like to give some advice. Think about how to develop and sustain a thought. But the real hack is to just allow magnificent, deep, and beautiful thoughts to hijack your mind. Let me tell you something. When you go to sleep and you study specifically some good thoughts, some deep ideas from the Talmud, from the Mishnah, from Chassidus, an idea, a story of righteous individuals, you're going to find that those deep, beautiful thoughts will hijack your mind throughout your sleep. You'll go to sleep thinking about them, and you'll wake up thinking about them. And that is what the Tanya, all this discussion now is from the Tanya. And it's the basis, the ABC, so to speak, of Chabad thought that provides this insight that one's thoughts can sweep you off your feet if only you give it a chance. Like anything good, it takes effort and practice to get yourself into the mood. But once you're in the habit of pondering those thoughts deeply, then they return to you automatically, and they take control. And here's a thought from the Tanya, more specifically to our conversation. Fix your mind on the vastness of this creation, the depth of wisdom, the ingenuity and beauty invested in every particle. A great consciousness fills all this creation, much as your soul fills your body and directs it. Now think of the core of that consciousness that lies infinitely beyond creation. Envision this great consciousness reaching out to you with unbounded love, asking you to join in a private relationship with Him. So as you bring Him into your life, we're talking about Hashem, by pondering His wisdom and the beauty of His works, sharing with Him the innermost concerns of your heart, reaching back to Him in love and awe, let me tell you something. Your spirit bonds with His. As you kind of walk on air when you think that way and live that way. As you utter the words of His wisdom that flows through us through the Torah and its sages, guess what? Your lips join with Him in every word. We mentioned the passing. Tonight is the date 32 years ago of the Rebbe's wife, the Rebbetzin Chaya Mushka. And the sages tell us that if a person passes away, a great person passes away, and you repeat thoughts that you learned from that person, words that they taught, teachings, it says their mouth, listen to this, my friends, their mouth, their lips mutter move in the grave. Can you imagine? Now, this may be speaking metaphorically, but the concept is that if you have a connection and you repeat the words of a sage from the Torah, for something meaningful, you become part of something greater. As you fill the world with that infinite light by fulfilling our particular mission in this world, which of course is our mission entrusted to every one of us, we embrace the Almighty God. And at the same time, as we embrace the Almighty God, we are embraced by Hashem from head to foot. That's how powerful it is. So let's hold on to that thought for long enough, says the Tanya. And the human heart cannot help but mirror that boundless love. And even the hardest heart will melt like wax before an intense blaze. Now, if your thoughts are ablaze, what do you do when your brain has broken loose and has run off like wildfire? It's crazy. Sometimes it's an obsession that won't allow you to think anything else, or anger or indignation. Along comes the author of the Tanya, was once asked, what do you do if you feel you're surrounded on all sides by a fire of passion? You should imagine yourself surrounded by a wall of fire. What do you do then? Well, you walk right through it, of course. Of course, it's just your imagination. That's what the Alter Rebbe said to someone. Sometimes it's just an exhausted, stressed out brain that's demanding some free time. Hey, have some pity on your gray matter and give it a break. But sometimes it's a deluge of crazy thoughts, and you can't do anything about it. Then, advises the Tanya, throw yourself before your Creator, plead to Him to save you from this deluge. Our Creator breathes within each of us and cares for us. As a parent runs to save a child, so light and inner strength will surely come to rescue us from this deluge, from this surrounding, thoughts. No, let me tell you, it's not easy to stay in charge of your own thoughts. I'm being realistic, but it's certainly rewarding. Absolutely. It's your brain, after all. And the human brain is still the most sophisticated device that we know of. So why shouldn't you and me and all of us would use our brains? Because aren't we the exclusive user? With this in mind, I want to share with you briefly that tonight continues the conference of Chabad Lubavitch women emissaries, because more than 3,000 Chabad Lubavitch women emissaries from around the world and their guests are going to be celebrating their annual banquet in connection with the Rebbetzins' passing. This is the culmination of 5 days of international conferences, of workshops and gatherings. And I invite everyone this evening at 5:30 p.m. to simply log in to our website, chabadmineola.com/kinnis at 5:30 p.m. That's www.chabadmineola.com/kinnis and enjoy this amazing live conference. And there you will see how these wonderful women are in control and making an impact throughout the world. This is your host, Rabbi Pearl, wishing you a fantastic day. Stay well, stay safe.